Okay, welcome everybody. My name is Axel Schulze from the SAP Product Management. I have a very short part today because I have one of our customers with me. But let me set the stage. I worked many years in the product management for Solution Manager, responsible for the process management there. And back in 2022, we start thinking about the transition from Cloud ALM to from SAP Solution Manager to Cloud ALM. I'm sorry. And we decided what transition options, transfer options we offer to the customer. And in 2023 at the ALM Summit, I start introducing the topic of the selective data transfer, moving data from Solution Manager to Cloud ALM. And I introduced the topic, and in 2024, I showed already an end-to-end, let's say, demonstration, how it works, and some last parts was missing. And this year we decided not to show this again because it's available, it's productive, and every of your tenants available. The download capabilities in Solution Manager are available, so we delivered what we promised last year. And what we also did was we performed a beta testing and a pilot program with a lot of customers. Some of them are here, one of them are Martin Bauer. And the advantage was that we could look for, let's say, light-weighted customer, not the heavy customers who using Solution Manager over decades. Martin Bauer was one of the, let's say, lightweights, which is not a good or a bad thing. They just use it, Solution Manager, what is sufficient for them. And it was sufficient also to do the selective data transfer and performing the transition from Solution Manager to Cloud ALM. And this is what Martin Bauer will talk about today. And I'm happy to introduce here Martin Bauer and Marco Götz. Over to you then.
Thank you, Axel. So, also a warm welcome from my side. Thank you, Axel. First sneak preview, what Axel promised in 2024 is working. So we did the transition, as mentioned from Axel, on a small Solution Manager setup, but therefore later in my slides. So just starting with a short introduction, who is Martin Bauer, or the Nature Network? So it's a little bit complicated. Most call Martin Bauer, but in the end we are Nature Network. Why Nature Network? Martin Bauer is one of the divisions and also the holding company above the Nature Network, but we have other branches in the network. We have Martin Bauer, we have Finselberg, we have Phytolab and the Europlant Group, and a new acquisition for spices, which we made this year. So there are 5 companies, and that's why we name it the Nature Network and not only Martin Bauer. What are our products? So we are in the teas, botanicals, spices. We have food laboratories, once for our own network, once for external customers. And all that together, we are with Finselberg in the pharmacy. So we are producing ingredients based on plants for the pharmacy. And that brings us that we are in a regulated network, so in a regulated system landscape. And around about nearly 100 years experience. We are a family business. We are now in the 4th generation of the family, and we are across the whole world. We have subsidiaries in all countries. You will see one slide later. And the interesting part here, we have around about 1,500 SAP users currently in the ECC landscape, but therefore later more. Here you can see our locations worldwide. The red dots are where we have SAP already in place. The green dots are the other locations which have a mix of ERP systems, local solutions, and so on. And that brings us later to our roadmap, how to integrate them in the future. Sustainability, as we are a plant-based business, sustainability is not just a word for us. We are living sustainability. Our target is clear to be CO2 neutral by 2030. And why I mentioned it here, the sustainability was our entry point in the SAP BTP. So we started there to creating own apps to monitor, to bring all our suppliers into our sustainability network and get some KPIs out of it. So that was our starting point with BTP then. So why the transition to Calm? Why we decided for Calm? So the key point is we set up a project to move from our current ECC landscape to our S4H system. We plan to go live in December this year. And therefore, we created a 3-stage program called Internal Move to S4. And in the first stage, it includes also the switch from Solution Manager to SAP Calm, as Solution Manager is, outdated by 2027. We decided to not connect Solution Manager anymore and include the processes into our new S4 landscape. So we already decided to make the Calm and set the Calm up in parallel to S4. What is the key goal? Transferring ECC on-prem to S4HANA with RISE in the private cloud. And in general, we want to have some landscape optimizations and cost and complexity reductions. No CFO, which is our head of, likes to have complex landscape, which costs a lot of money. So money is a big driver, and there we have been happy to have heard about Calm, which is a free-to-use software from SAP if you have a maintenance contract. So it fitted perfectly in our decision. We want to make in the next steps some process optimization. We'll talk about implementing EWM, TM, transport management. We have to talk about our intercompany processes internally, as they are not as good as we wanted to have them. And we are implementing SAP Master Data Governance. And then ServiceNow and SAP Calm will be one interface to our business, as at the moment ServiceNow is used from our infrastructure, and we are planning to have one central interface to the business, and so ServiceNow will be the face to the business, and in the background my team from the business applications in IT will work then on the features and user stories in Calm. So that's a little bit overloaded picture, but that shows on a one slide what we want to do with our Move to S4 program. That's our internal slide. So we are here now in the step 1. We are in the implementation of S4HANA and Cloud ALM as central components there. And then we want to move on in 2026 with other components. And therefore, we want to use also Cloud ALM as project tool. A rough overview of our system landscape. It's simplified here, so we have a 3-tier SAP ECC system. We have an SAP Solman running, and we have BW on HANA as our business warehouse already connected to SAC. And we have a bucket of third-party systems which are connected to that landscape. And we already have in the cloud, we are using SAP Business Network from the supplier point of view, C4C, Concur, SuccessFactors. We have a lot of developments in the SAP BTP and using there also the CPI technology, and our user documentation and testing documents. We handle everything in Enable Now. And SAP Cloud ALM is already in place in that 2-day setup, but it's not live for all purposes at the moment. But it will come in our to-be landscape. So you see we got rid of then of the on-premise systems which we are hosting. So we will go to S4HANA in the public cloud. We will replace the BW by the SAP DataSphere, and the Solution Manager will be fully replaced by Cloud ALM. So why Calm? It's a few easy points. End of maintenance Solution Manager, so everyone must think about what to do after the Solman era. We have the cost efficiency Solution Manager. We have hosting costs. We have to have the system available 24/7. It costs a lot of money on that point. And the Calm in the cloud is also available 24/7 and costs us nothing more than the regular maintenance. We have the cloud change management capability. As we are using BTP apps, we want to go also to have our changes there from the BTP side managed by Calm. That is one of our next steps, which we will implement in Calm. And we want to have a modern web-based interface, as especially our business, they are not really happy in the user interface of Solman. They are complaining a lot on that point. So how did our transition project look like? So rough overview of our situation, the Solution Manager. Axel already mentioned some points. So we are using the process management. We have business process management in Solution Manager active. We are differentiating there between single function processes and main processes. That's a decision from our side because that gives them some efficiency when it comes to testing, because our separation is single functions can be tested without involvement of another department. Main functions have to have tested in combination with several departments. So if it comes to tests, like now for S4H, the departments can say, okay, I can work on my own on the single functions and do not have to wait for other departments there. We don't have testing documents, we don't have test descriptions in Solution Manager. We only have in Solution Manager a link to Enable Now. That was also positive for the selective data transfer, because that was easy to include in the selective data transfer and bring this link also then to Calm. We're using the change management in Solution Manager for ECC changes, and we have test management based on the process management in the Solman. So how did our timeline for Calm look like? Please not be scared. So we spent not 3 years in implementing Calm. It was not that big project. We had the first touch point in 2023. We have been on a meeting in Waldorf at SAP. They introduced us Calm. We activated it in our tenant, parallel to our BTP tenant, and had the first look and feel check. It was not completely ready at that point of time for us to say, okay, we make now the full switch over to Calm. The SDT was not yet in place, so we decided, okay, we will keep the tenant. It will be our focus, but not at this point of time. But we used the time in between. So you see here the 2024. We made some design phase, some decision phases to say, okay, how our future change process can look like in combination Calm and ServiceNow. We got in contact with some ServiceNow partners and decided and designed our process. How can ServiceNow interact with the APIs with Calm? So that's what we used the time for. Then it came to 2025. Axel showed up and said, hey, could be interesting for you to have the selective data transfer. As I can remember, that was a pain point in 2023 for you. He said, okay, let's give it a chance because somehow we have to bring the data from Solution Manager into our Calm. And then we started the first SDT sessions, selective data transfer sessions, as Axel mentioned in the EGI, in the expert-guided implementation program from SAP. And shortly after that, we did the first SDT import into Calm. So it was a well-guided session. I will show later some things about it. And it was an Excel output, and we made just the first upload into Calm. That's what I like on Calm is you have not make some tremendous customizings, big settings. You can just try it. Export it, try it. First thing can say was not working properly, so we had to work a little bit on the data in the Solution Manager because we wanted to get rid of some old artifacts we had there. So we deleted it completely and started the process then again, which brings us to the situation now. We are in the final data check at the moment. We have to make minor changes now in the data, and we are close to our final selective data transfer from Solution Manager to Calm now. In parallel to the SDT sessions, we are currently using Calm also for the BTC. We are doing the transition from ECC to S/4HANA completely with the transformation integrated in Calm. Benefits and not so nice benefits, but that's another topic. And we are close to the go live, as I mentioned, with S/4HANA. We want to go live then also with Calm to have the change management. And we have to have the change management ready now because as soon as we have the validation done for our S4H system, we have to handle every change over Calm to be transparent to our auditors when it comes to our GXP validation again. And then when we are having time and are done with all of that, we want to redesign a little bit our change process because it's too complex at the moment. We want to reduce complexity, but that's then our future approach. That, as I mentioned, the EGI sessions, the selective data transfer sessions, it was also not an effort from many weeks. So it was really lean on. It was 3 days, guided by an SAP expert. And within the 3 days, it was a rough explanation. It was a detailed step-by-step walkthrough. It was then on the second day already an export from our side, from the current things we had in the Solution Manager, and run the first import into Calm. So that was a very well-guided session which we had there. And it was the chance for us to bring everything to Calm. So coming to our ALM processes, what we do now in Calm and what have we transferred. So what we did with the selective data transfer, we transferred our process management. We transferred our business processes, as I mentioned before, with the single function and main functions that have been completely transferred from the solution library in Solution Manager. So we had the business processes and we had the process step library, which has been 100% transferred in the Excel spreadsheets. In the Excel spreadsheets, if you understand the logic behind, you can do some data manipulations. We use that to clean up a little bit our data. We will use it now in the final load because we have to bring in some text. That was a lesson learned we had. We have our business processes in Solution Manager. We have a clear grouping of which processes are relevant for which location or country. That was missing in the first loads we had with the SDT. And that's what we now make in the final load and bring some tags in to have the separation between, okay, which process is relevant for which country there. We have the link to our Enable Now documentation for the test descriptions that is also now perfectly included in the SDT. It comes over to Calm. We have it there also in the step library. We have the link to Enable Now as it was before. So the test management, it's not yet in place at the moment, so we have it ready for use. We got also some expert session there and trained it, but now for our S4 project, it came a little bit too late. We finished the SDT a little bit too late to use the testing already for our S4, so there we are unluckily in an Excel-based testing again, but the clear approach is for the next bigger projects like the EWM, the TM, or especially the further rollouts which we have into the world, we will use the test management in Calm, and we will remain with our link to Enable Now, as this is for us the best practice. So we are using also the change management in Calm for the future. There, unfortunately, we had no selective data transfer. Axel, don't know if it's now on the agenda to have also the points exported, but that was for us one of the pain points we had. So we have not yet exported all the change documents and tickets we had in the solution manager. But we are starting now with the Calm and making it new and starting on a greenfield in Calm with the change management. And we are using there, like before, the distinguishing between project changes, normal changes, administrator change, and standard changes. So we are deploying in waves. In our case, we call it cycles. So the normal changes are deployed once in a month to the production system. There we ensure that we have no overrunning transports, no cross-site effects, and so on. That's why we decided to bring everything in cycles into the system. That is also perfectly supported now with Calm. There we can also have our monthly cycles, or we are thinking about to go with S4 to quarterly cycles, but that's a discussion with our business. We have, from IT, we want to quarterly, business wants to have daily. So there's a little bit of gap, so I think it will end up in a monthly again. And at the moment, as we don't have Calm, don't have ServiceNow finally connected to Calm, we do a small workaround. We document the testing with tags in Calm. So the change log is there perfectly for us. We can see who has flagged a tag. So we have, as we are in the regulated environment, we have several tests who have to be executed. It's not just one of the business says, okay, the change is ready and goes to the productive system. There must be several tags then on the change, and therefore we use the tag management, but that part later on is moving to ServiceNow in our idea. So that's like a simplified how the tags look like. And so for us in Solman, we had there more possibilities to have these test cases managed, to have there several approval steps that we are missing now in Calm. That's why we use the tag solution. And also until now, the standard changes means implementing new payment terms, implementing new purchaser groups or something. We flagged that things in Solution Manager as standard changes, and there was no approval required. That functionality we also currently do not have in Calm at the moment. So as I mentioned already, so we have to separate in our case for two new ALM processes. So we are temporarily only in Calm, and our final solution will be Calm in conjunction with ServiceNow for change management. So for change management, as I mentioned, it will look like we are starting on a greenfield approach. We only have the test cases based on the business processes out of the selective data transfer. And we will use ServiceNow as central front end, and the developers and the business consultants will stay then in Calm, and we use there the API, which is well working to communicate between ServiceNow and Calm. That is already in place now. And for the process management, as we have there the full switch from Solman to Calm, we did the selective data transfer there. We have everything here ready to have our process management integrated. We not yet have Signavio in place. It's also on our roadmap to have better processes, to have deeper process understanding in, because now it's depending on the department side. Some have brought more details into the solution manager process documentation, some have less. So Some departments just write, I have a process, and that's all you get from them, and some have a step-by-step flow chart, which is also migrated with the SDT. So also the flow charts we brought over from Solution Manager into our Calm. So what have been our major findings during that transition, or at the moment now? Some of them are already on the roadmap from SAP. Some of them I learned yesterday are handleable, but we have not found a solution, but we have seen it yesterday. So it's a mixture of all. So for us at the moment, a pain point is the document attachment handling. So we would like to have and see that a document can be attached to a user story, to a feature or something like that in an easier way than first creating a document in Calm and then assign it to the user story. So that's for us not the best user-friendly way, and we would like to wish there, a better way of linking documents. When it comes to include also the business for the process management and especially for the testing. So if I make the sample now for our S4H project, we are handling there around about 260 international key users which are testing the solution at the moment. The user integration in Calm needs to be defined, so we have to think about to bring our Microsoft tenant for single sign-on to Calm, or how there would be a solution for mass creation, because we also do not have all the users which are involved because of external partners and so on in our Active Directory at the moment. So user creation is a big topic at the moment, how we can have a mass user creation. We're thinking about a possible solution with BTP and CPI there, but that has to be checked. And also the role assignment and authority handling in Calm. But I've seen yesterday that there's a lot on the roadmap, especially in regarding authorization, because at the moment, for us, it does not fit the requirement which we have perfectly. We can do it now with some workarounds, but for sure we need there better ways for the user handling. And when it comes to transport creation in the change management, there's no reference to the SAP user. So I can type in Mickey Mouse, and then the system tries to create the transport for Mickey Mouse. It will not find it and creates it for default user. There we would wish that there would be a chance to have a link to the SAP user, that there would be less manual input errors possible there. Okay, what's the outlook on our side? What do we plan now in the near future? So after we are done with the first go live with our change management, with the workaround without ServiceNow, we go live now with S4 and our SAP BW landscape with change management in Calm. We will start to integrate our BTP apps. As mentioned before, that was a big topic for us, that Calm has the ability to have the cloud integration there, that we can also make change management for our cloud apps and our cloud products which we have there in place, C4C, business network, and so on. We are thinking about test automation, because for future update projects and so on, we want to automate more our testings, to not have as many users as we have now involved into such activities. And we are thinking about integrated project management. That's, in our point of view, one big advantage from Calm, that it's directly fitting to the approach from SAP. We can handle that in a perfect way, the SAP projects, and we want to go from Microsoft Project Web into Calm for our next rollout projects and also for the EWMs projects and so on, and have there the full project handling from the planning until the cutover handling and go live. Yeah, that's our story, what we did so far with Calm. So Axel, we had the fear that there are too much slides, so hopefully it was not too fast from speaking for you. So that's what we did. Do you want to add something, Axel?
Some last words. First of all, thank you very much, but don't be, let's say, just some seconds. I hope you're not disappointed that you don't see really the details on the selective data transfer. So for me, it was much more important to have a customer proving how really the transition he approached and what he did. The selective data transfer in general is available. We have a lot of documentation. You can just try it out by yourself. You can try downloads, you can try uploads, you can delete the data. So become familiar, and I just hope this is more proven hearing this story from a customer. And we have also another customer tomorrow talking about Carvo, who also worked with us. And we have also a session with Michael Skiber on best practices for the selective data transfer. Also, if you are having Signavio, what about heavy documentation you have in your system? So check out the agenda for tomorrow. And yeah, again, now, thank you very much, Marco.
Well, one thing to add, so that was one point also from our side, you cannot destroy anything. So you can try with the selective data transfer. It's easy from the use. If you read the white papers for it, if you read the step-by-step instructions, it's easy to extract the data from Solution Manager and import into Calm, and you cannot make anything wrong. You can delete. We did, I think, 5, 6 deletions now until we said, okay, the data is perfect, so it doesn't matter, you cannot do anything wrong. That was once we started. At the beginning, there was the mass deletion was missing, so I had one trainee sitting there, and he deleted, I think, 180 processes, and he was the most happy person that the function of the mass deleting was then implemented on a short notice.
Yeah, because it's changing with the cloud, let's say, setup. We don't have a develop or test system anymore where we can move it via transport. It's different, so we have to do it somehow in the production and provide this mass deletion capabilities. So I think we will wait outside if you have some questions. But again, Marco, thank you very much.
And if you have questions, you can contact me afterwards also and ask. I can tell you, okay, what we did. It's not perfect, I think, what we did, but we found for us a practical approach which mostly fits to the best practices, I think, from SAP, but also with some notes from our side there. Thank you.